Welcome to my show. I am a guest here. His name is Po Wu. Po Wu, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Tammy?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, sir. Um, Firstly, I would like to let's ask, is Po Wu your full name or is just your first name or last name or they are just together, sir?
It is actually a shortened form of my Chinese name, yeah, which is Po Yi Wu, but I've always gone by Po. 'Cause that's what my friends call me, and I've just gone with that ever since.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go to your biography. Firstly, you are a holistic wellness and performance coach. You are also a neurologist. You are also an author. You have a background in Chinese medicine, and you're also the co-host of the Rich Life podcast. Can you please walk us through your journey? What made you choose this, career in life, and how you are doing currently now, sir?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm a admirer of your work and everything that you do. So it's an honor to be here. Uh, so to answer your question, my like you alluded to, my background is in medicine. So I started off my career as a neurologist. Early on in my career, I realized that this wasn't my calling. Right? I noticed that medicine in the United States was very increasingly profit driven. There wasn't enough time to spend with each patient. It was very symptoms based instead of looking at the whole picture and trying to get to the root cause of the problem. Yeah. So with that in mind, I drew upon some earlier experience, which was that I had some earlier training in acupuncture in China. And I remember at the time when I was training in Shanghai, there was this really nice blend of East and West. Right? Nobody thought anything weird of it. So on the one hand, for example, for stroke patients, you would get your Western medicines, but then you'd also get Chinese herbs at the same time. So it was a nice blend of East and West. And I remember that, and I thought, wow, if I could somehow do that here in the United States. I mean, I was in New York at the time. I said, well, that could be something. So I took a big risk. I left what was a very stable job, stable paycheck at the time. Didn't really have the support of my family, right? Because um, it's just something very different, right? Very risky, as as a lot of people would say. But I had to follow my heart, and so I ended up setting up an integrative medical practice where I practiced traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, but also neurology at the same time. So from that, uh, I had a blast. I had a wonderful time. I got to design the practice in the way that I wanted to treat people. Right, I wanted to be able to spend time with them, and I also wanted to really understand the the root of illness, the root of people's problems. Right, and so during that time, um, I saw that a lot of people would come in with a physical ailment, right? Because that's typically what brings people to doctors, right? Oh, my head hurts or my neck hurts or I'm having problems seeing, right? But then, quickly, realize more and more, well, there's a lot more than that, right? Oftentimes, physical problems are just a manifestation of deeper imbalances, right? And that's where the framework of Eastern medicine and traditional Chinese medicine really came into play because in Chinese medicine there is this framework called the five elements, right? So you have just to run through them real quickly. It's wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And each of these elements not only represents nature, but it also represents different parts of ourselves and different parts of our bodies. So an imbalance in just one of those elements will have a ripple effect across many areas, right? Beyond just beyond just the like the original symptom or complaint. Yeah. So I saw how as I got to know my patients and my clients better and better, I realized, oh, a lot of them, it's because of other things going on in their lives, like stress in their lives. Maybe it's a problem with their job or their relationship, or unresolved trauma from their past. And all these things are sort of still stuck inside, right? And then finally manifesting itself as a physical ailment. Yeah. And so it was just fascinating and also really rewarding to be able to treat people in a very holistic manner, but also get to understand them as full people, right? The way I got into coaching is that uh, during 2019, 2020, it was the middle of the pandemic, right? And at the time, both my wife and myself, we're both physicians, right? We're both very busy. COVID brought a lot of changes, and we both have small kids, right? We're both training for marathons. On the surface, everything was looking really well, but actually, we found that we weren't able to juggle everything, right? We weren't able to devote all the time we wanted to our careers and to young kids, and also be marathon training and running businesses, and it caused a lot of stress in our lives. And so we decided, okay, how can we start over from scratch, and how can we design a life of our own choosing, right? How can we sort of backwards engineer the life that we want? So we decided, okay, let's start over and let's move somewhere else. So we decided to move across the continent to British Columbia, right? So this is where we are. We're just in the Vancouver area. We got into other things like real estate investment, right, which is a source of passive income and allows you to free up your time. Um, we also invested in ourselves, right? We invested in personal growth. We invested in uh, learning about our own childhood traumas, our own unresolved issues, right, as part of this personal growth journey. And so when we both did that, I mean, that's where I really got into the personal development space, and that's where I found that my background in neurology and acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, really lended itself well to 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 life coaching and to these broader broader principles that are so applicable to life, right? How do we find inner harmony? How do we find balance, right? And so after we came to British Columbia, I decided, oh wow, I can still do all of this and just use my previous background to help people, right? In a slightly different way, but sort of in a evolved way, but still very holistic. Yeah. So in a nutshell, that's how I got to become a holistic wellness and performance coach. So it's a blend of not only my various medical backgrounds, but also my life experiences, my experience as an endurance athlete, all the above, right? And it's been a wonderful journey. I learned a lot, and I also learn a lot from the people that I get to have the privilege to work with.
All right, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir, Mr. Poe. I really appreciate it. That was a very inspiring story. And I want to go to the point of the traditional Chinese medicine. I would like to ask, how do you think it integrates? How do you think it relates with neurological practicer?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. The one of the issues that I had with um, just strictly uh, conventional medicine, or some would say, Western medicine, is that it can sometimes be a bit like reductionistic, right? So in Western medicine, you have all these different specialties, which makes sense in a way because the knowledge has just grown so much over the years, and now it's just become too much. So in a way, it makes sense that you need to specialize. You need to have doctors in each particular field. The unintended downside of that is that now when you have everything is so subspecialized, you sort of lose the the holistic, integrative picture. And I think that's where having a different framework, having a different mindset and tools to approach a problem is very helpful, right? It's not that one is better than the other. In fact, I see them as extremely complementary. Mm. Sometimes people like this. Nowadays, we have we're in a society that tends to say it's either A or B. Uh, People forget that, you can have A and B, right? You can have the um just a whole synergistic effect, right? You don't have to pick one or the other. You can take the best aspects of both and integrate them into each other, right? And that's where I found that with traditional Chinese medicine, you could look at the entire picture and then make sense of all these seemingly separate problems. And I found that a lot of my clients, they really appreciated that because a lot of them, they've been to so many different specialists, different people, and each one of them was looking and doing their best to look at that particular problem. But the client and the patient is still frustrated because like, wow, like what is going on? Right? What is going on? Like I have all these different problems. Um, and so to finally have somebody be able to tell them, oh, it's all related. It all makes sense when you look at it from a holistic framework. Yeah. And so once you recognize that, then you can start to devise strategies to restore their inner balance and their harmony. And so that's where something like the traditional Chinese medicine five elements framework is extremely helpful. Yeah. At the same time, though, you could still use all the benefits of modern technology, modern medicine, all of that, right? So it's just combining the best of ancient wisdom with modern contemporary understanding. Yeah.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. But something just popped in my mind. Normally, when I watch all these Chinese movies, I always see some type of meditation they used to do that will always make me feel like, are these things really real? They are all traditional Chinese healing medicine way too. Um,
Yeah.
I would like to ask, does all this Chinese traditional medicine, does this have majority of healing, healing maybe is either back pain or anything. Does traditional Chinese medicine, does it have all those tools to solve everything? And how do you think, like, I want to go to the point of this during this time of COVID now, you know,
Mm.
how can, traditional Chinese medicine to, evolve and, make an impact in some things like that too?
Yeah. Wonderful questions. I think the strength of traditional Chinese medicine, or a lot of these, more like, um, some would call like alternative or complementary schools of thought. I think their strength lies in not only looking at the entire body, right, at one's entire life in a very integrative and holistic picture. The strength of that is that it's very good for in terms of preventing illness, right? To keep you from getting to that point where, oh, you have a diagnosable problem that then you need to see a doctor, right? Once you've gotten to the point of, let's say, developing like a more advanced stage of illness, whether that's, let's say, cancer or diabetes, or just name whatever medical condition, it it becomes a little more difficult, right? And I think that's where you might need something like Western medicine and conventional medicine, these modern approaches, because it's gotten to that more advanced stage, right? But the power of integrative medicine is to hopefully try to keep you healthy and balanced and your body harmonized before you get to that more advanced stage where, okay, you really need to get that surgery done. You need to get that tumor resected. You need to take these very powerful medicines. So again, it's not that one is better than the other. I see them both as having uh, very important roles to play. But ideally, I think we would all prefer to not get to that point where we would need that more, um, severe or invasive type of treatment. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Paul. That was really helpful. It makes me understand something when it comes to
Hmm.
traditional and modern. It was
Yeah.
really, thank you so much, sir. And I would like to ask, in the traditional Chinese medicine, is there any herbal that supports neurological health?
Yes. I mean, this is the part that really fascinates me because as I love, I love looking at this. I love thinking about this because um, if uh, if you look at, let's say, the five elements, right? Each of those elements, they represent like an ideal form of how we should be functioning, right? So, for example, wood, if you, and this relates to nature too, but wood, if you picture plants and trees growing, this symbolizes growth, resilience, right? Renewal with the seasons. So if you look at the body and our brains, that's represented by something called neuroplasticity, which is our brain's ability to form new connections, to grow, to repair itself, to uh, to making itself even stronger, especially after trauma, right? So you look at stroke patients or people who have lost the ability to, let's say, use one arm or both hands, and the brain has this remarkable ability to rewire itself, form new connections, and um, and adapt in such a way. And so there is such a connection, such a fascinating connection between what our bodies are able to do and what we see in nature, right? Fire element, for example, it represents like passion, love, joy, right? And this, you know, the neuroscience corollary for this is your emotional regulation networks in your brain, right? So it's just fascinating to see that there are, modern day connections to um, what they observed in people's bodies and in nature even thousands of years ago, right? It's just different language that they use, but it's very much describing the same thing, the same phenomenon that they saw in our bodies, but also in nature, right? And then it's really interesting and cool to see, wow, our bodies in many ways it embodies nature. Like we need to respect nature because we can learn so much from observing the natural balance and natural harmony that that is our world, right? Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to ask, like, I want to use myself as an example. Sometimes when I have issues and I go to the
Yeah.
doctor, The doctor is
Mm.
going to be nice, he's going to be calm, what's wrong with you? And maybe probably in my own place, I don't know about Chinese, but traditionally, if I go, the approach might be, probably different with the way a doctor will, approach. I would
Hmm.
like to ask, how do traditional and modern technology, the modern technology that is used to heal, how do they work differently to heal and solve chronic pain when someone is having issues, sir?
Yeah. I think this ties back into like the different sort of philosophical approaches, right? So in Chinese medicine, like we use a lot of different herbs. We use the modalities like acupuncture. We use breathing techniques, right? We recommend meditation. We recommend Tai Chi. We even recommend just movement, right? Because movement promotes what they call the flow of qi, right? The life energy within us. So early on they recognize the importance of like the mind body connection, how everything is related to each other. Modern technology, modern, I would say conventional medicine is it's more sort of like organ and systems targeted, right? So if they'll check your labs, they'll laboratory results, they'll check your scans. They'll look, okay, you have a problem in your lung, or your liver function tests are abnormal. So let's find a way to get those numbers back down to normal, right? Your cholesterol is high. Let's find a way to get that back down, right? Um, they might try some more conservative or natural approaches to get it down, but it's very much about, okay, let's how do we get your labs and your numbers back to normal? Like how do we um, get your image to look better, right? If you have some fluid in your lung or whatnot. So it is very targeted, very very systems based. I am encouraged by the fact that there is sort of this growing awareness even among the conventional medical community that there needs to be a different way to look at things, right? This traditional conventional approach, it's it doesn't it's not always the most ideal or the only way to look at it. So I'm encouraged by the fact that there's more interest in integrative medicine, and there's more interest even among uh, conventionally trained physicians to expand their toolkit and to learn things like acupuncture or uh, other forms of alternative or complementary medicines. So I think there is this awareness that, hey, we need more tools, right? Because patients, clients, they're not, a lot of them are not satisfied, right? They keep going from doctor to doctor to doctor looking for the answer. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I want to go to this traditional Chinese
Hmm.
medicine. Some people might be wondering, ah, I would like to know more about Chinese, traditional medicine, medicine, local traditional medicine that could work for this, that. Do you know any book or any website that talks about something like that, sir?
Yeah, there's a variety of um, books and websites. For folks who want to learn about more about my background, what I do, it's my website is www dot uh, Dr. Po Wu. There I have a blog, and I like to write about these some of these different topics that touch upon like the integrative aspects of health and wellness. Mm. If you're living in the United States, if you're looking for an integrative approach that respects both like Eastern and Western medicine. You can check out the American Academy of Medical Acupuncture, right? So there you'll find uh, you know, medical doctors, physicians who are also trained in uh, in Eastern medicine or acupuncture, right? For those who perhaps don't want to like veer so far off to one side, but they want to stay um, in that balance zone to get the best of both worlds. That's not a bad place to start. Yeah,
All right, thank you so much, sir. And
yeah.
can you please just discuss the any challenges that is integrating the traditional Chinese medicine with the modern neurological therapies?
Yeah, challenges. Um, I think one of the challenges is uh, you know, sort of overcoming the like the sort of the lack of awareness or knowledge about these other approaches, right? So I know that in North America, historically, acupuncture, traditional medicine was sort of restricted to the old Chinatowns, right? Europe and other places in the world, they were quicker um, to integrate this into their health systems, but it was relatively late that it came to North America, right? And there's several reasons for this. I mean, it was still within many circles. There's a I don't know if you want to call it a prejudice or a belief that you know West is best. Um, what do we need to learn from the rest of the world, right? Um, it's it's there's a bit of that going on, but I think increasingly, you're seeing more and more acceptance and awareness of this. Another challenge is that these modern day uh, research methods, right? Modern statistics, right? This wasn't this wasn't available for much of history, right? So one of the criticisms of a lot of these alternative complementary therapies is that, well, you know, where's the research, right? Where's the data? And so there's some work to be done naturally, right? Because these modern statistical methods, modern ways of conducting experiments, it's a relatively new thing, right? But on the other hand, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of years of empirical research experience, right? Records being passed down. It's very similar to how a cook perfects a recipe, right? A cook does not perfect a recipe in the laboratory, right? A cook tries different things, and whatever doesn't work, they won't do it again. But whatever works, they will keep doing that, and they will perfect that, and then it gets passed down, right? Passed down with recipes, passed down with stories. And in much the same way, this is how a lot of the older, more ancient like healing arts gets passed down. So in a way, that is scientific in its own way. It's just in a different way than what a lot of people consider, how research should be done. But there are thousands of years of experiments and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and just observations about the human body that gets passed down. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there is still some work to do to sort of fully integrate that in especially in the West, especially in the West. I think in my experiences, traveling through Asia, um, I think there's a greater awareness and ability to blend the two, right? Because um, within the past 100 years, they've been sort of playing catch up, right? Trying to catch up technologically, trying to develop their economies and societies after years of war, after years of colonialism. So they're more generally more open-minded to other approaches. Yeah. So, but here in North America, I feel like there's still some work to do, but it's heading in the right direction.
All right, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mr. Pobu. Um, I want to ask if there is any advice you would like to
Hmm.
give to the audience. I would like to ask, sir.
Yeah. Oh, where do I start? The one piece of advice is, connect with nature, right? Connect with all these different parts of yourself. We touched upon like the five different elements, right? So we mentioned wood, how that represents like growth and resilience. We mentioned fire, which represents passion, joy, and love. There's earth, right, which represents like the nurturing aspect, community, right, taking care of yourself even. You have the metal aspect, which represents discipline, organization, letting go of the things that are not necessary in life. And then you have water, right, which Bruce Lee had this famous quote, be water, my friend, right? Trust your intuition, go with the flow, be adaptable in life. Mm. These five elements, if you're able to embody them all, mm, you will have a very fulfilled and good life if you're able to embody the wisdom in these five elements. But these are lessons that we can get from nature if we are observant, if we connect to it, if we just stay grounded and true to ourselves, right? I think nowadays a lot of us are unfortunately out of balance, right? So even though materialistically there's never been so much wealth in the world, right? There's a lot of material success, but for some reason people are more unhappy and unfulfilled than ever. Mm. So this shows that even though you know people go after success, money, fame, you know, likes on social media, a lot of people are still feeling very empty inside, and they're still searching for like, true meaning and fulfillment. So I think in times like this, it helps to look back at the wisdom of the people that came before us. Stay grounded, stay rooted in your surroundings, right? And nurture each aspect of yourself. Don't let one part take over everything else, right? Don't just focus on going after money and material success, right? Focus on all the elements, right? Let them work synergistically together, because if you do, you'll find that it will make everything better.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. That was very, very inspiring. There's a question I normally ask. From the ancestors, from the forefathers,
Hmm.
if there is anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that one would be, sir?
I love that question. I think it's to stay grounded and stay rooted, right? Like what we were talking about before, stay true to yourself. Nurture nurture yourself, nurture others. Practice like mindfulness, practice gratitude. Um, don't let the pursuit of like a singular focus uh, lead you out of balance, right? And I think especially in today's world, um, a lot of people equates fame and material success as the path to happiness. Yeah, but like we were saying before, it's levels of depression, anxiety, and unhappiness are at an all-time high, right? Um, Whereas you look back in the past, they did not have so much material wealth, but people were more balanced, right? People were not on their phones all the time. People connected, people had community, people placed more importance on family, right? Nurturing and supporting each other, right? People were not as lonely. Like people just understood this. There's this inherent wisdom in being like balanced and harmonized with their surroundings. Yeah. So yeah, my advice is yeah, like heed the wisdom and just profound knowledge of all those who came before us. Learn from the thousands of years of experience because I think we need that more than ever in today's world.
All right, Mr. Owu, I really want to appreciate you for your time. Thank you so much for coming up. Thank you so much for this slow and mindful conversation. I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy, so much for your time for having me on the show. It's been an honor, and I want to again thank you and um, say keep up the great work and all the work that you do. I've really enjoyed your other shows and uh, and books as well. So keep it up.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.